Hey YouTube world, today I want to share with you three ideas or items or topics that prevents us from having a growth mindset. Stay tuned. Hey YouTube world, welcome back. My name is Ramenis, but you can call me Remy. And today we're going to talk about three ideas, topics, or items that I feel prevents us from having a growth mindset. Right? Before we get into it, let's remind ourselves of the rule for this channel, which is not to accept or reject anything from the start. Allow for the information to come in, digest that information, and then push it out with a decision to accept it or reject it, or maybe just accept parts of it and get rid of the other one. And I do have today a cigar of the day, which is Diesel. And Diesel is a cigar by AJ Fernandez, who's one of my favorites in the industry. The reason why I love this cigar, and I've tried it before several times, and I always skip a stick or two around, is because it's just very smooth to smoke. Right? Sometimes a cigar may be rolled in too tight, and it's kind of it work to kind of get through it. And a cigar is like an hour and a half, so you don't want to go through that struggle. You want to relax. But the most important piece about the cigar is that it's full of flavor from start to finish. Sometimes a cigar takes about a half inch to an inch to give you that full flavor of the cigar. This one is very consistent from start to finish. That and the fact that it's a smooth and easy smoke is a plus plus. But to get back to the topic in regards to the three items or the topics or the mindsets that prevents us from having a growth approach on life. And in no particular order, I just have to kind of pick one first, right? But the first one is begin to guard your mind against negative programming. So think about it for a second. Begin to guard your mind against negative programming. And let's face it, right? The world, and we can argue about this, but the world tends to be a little bit negative at times, more so than what we want, right? A lot of what we're presented, news, social media, things that we see up, down, left, and right, things that go viral, normally tends to be those things that are not constructive, more on the negative side. Very few things go viral that are positive and inspiring. But it's just the way the world is, and it's not to sort of point fingers at anything or anyone. It's just sometimes humans are flawed, and that's just how life happens. But the idea is to be mindful of that, right? Guard your mind against that negative programming. Ask yourself questions from time to time to understand: is my attention capture or is my attention center? Right. So that's one trick that you can use to sort of when you get the chance to pause, always ask yourself: is my attention capture or is my attention center? Because if it's capture, that means that you don't have the control at the moment. Your attention is being captured by whatever is in front of you. It could be a TV show, it could be the news, it could be a movie that you've seen, 20 times before, but your attention is being captured by whatever is around you. It could be social media, right? We can easily spend 20, 30, an hour going through Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, TikTok, to put it that way. And I'm not saying that those things are wrong, right? They're entertaining, but a growth mindset would be blocked, by those things that are having your attention or that are capturing your attention. Now, you want to be able to have your attention center, which means that when you have a center, you're the ones that's choosing and you're focusing your attention into the things that you want, right? Into the goals and dreams and to-do lists that you have that are going to push you forward, are going to move the needle, are going to make you more progressive as an individual, right? So having a growth mindset is being able to understand that you have to guard your mind from negative programming, right? Another one is to start focusing on people with low standards, right? And I'm going to kind of pause here for a second. So people with low standards, we normally see those everywhere, unfortunately. A lot of the times we see those individuals at work, right, which is where we spend a lot of our time. So at work, sometimes I see or hear individuals sort of complaining about folks that are just doing the bare minimum to get by. And it's those individuals, they're choosing to have the low standards. They're doing the minimum. They're getting by, and they just go day by day. And sometimes it could be frustrating because you're saying to yourself, "Wow, these individuals can do more. They can, obviously push or make the team better, make the department better, the company better, but they're just choosing to kind of do the bare minimum instead of moving on." And it could be frustrating. So I understand that part. But if you're choosing to invest your energy, your emotions into focusing on those individuals, to me, it's just a waste of time and energy because you have little control on what they do, right? You can suggest and you can talk to them or whatever you want to do if you want to take those type of initiative. But if we, well, let me put it this way: the reality is that we're going to encounter those folks, you know, on a day-to-day life. If you go to another company, you're probably going to encounter folks that have a similar way of being, right? They have low standards. If you see them, your day-to-day, you see them at school, wherever part of life you're in, you're probably going to have individuals that just have the low standards. So the idea is to remove your attention or your energy from them doing that. Instead, look at it from this angle. Them having low standards makes you shine brighter and it's easier for you to shine bright, right? You could be average, and if you're being compared to somebody that has low standards, you're going to shine just by default, by just you being average, right? So it makes it easier for you to shine. It makes it easier for you to take steps forward, to be more involved with progressive things that are happening within the organization and having that growth mindset. So remove your attention from those folks. Be a sponge to individuals that have high standards and then focus to choose or to see what they're doing and what you can get from them. Right? Now, the third one, and this is a big one, is complaining and having a pessimistic mindset. And when I say, there we know folks, unfortunately, or sometimes ourselves, we have to look at ourselves at times. We know individuals that complain and have a pessimistic approach on anything. Like it's amazing at times, right? It's how you see some folks that find that it is so easy for them to complain about a situation or just find the negative on a situation. Sometimes, people, you give them an idea and they'll give you 5 reasons why it won't work, right? Like off the bat, real quick, 5 reasons why it won't work instead of putting their approach and their energy into, hey, that's an idea. Let's brainstorm about it. Let's see how it can be made to a reality, and if not, then kind of move on to the next. These are the folks that complain about anything, right? So if it's the sun is out, if it's raining, if it's too hot, if it's too cold, right? These are individuals that will probably look out the window, and instead of focusing on the landscape or the sunshine, they'll say, look at the specks in the window, right? So you want to remove yourself from individuals that normally complain a lot or look at the world from a very pessimistic point of view, right? The glass half empty type of approach. Instead, you know, focus on the fact that, hey, life is going to have up and downs, right? But how can I take advantage of the ups and the downs, right? Where's the opportunity in either side? Because there is opportunity in the ups and in the downs. It's like the stock market, right? Some people make money when the stock market is going up. Other people make money when the stock market is going down. Some people that are great at it make money both when it goes up and it goes down. So there's opportunities in every aspect of life and what it presents to you. I always remind myself of this, right? It is not our fault of what may have happened. So there are situations or things that happens that it may not be our fault, but it is our responsibility how we respond to it. So make sure or be very mindful about your approach. If it's one that's normally complains or one that's normally see things in a negative, and I'm not saying not to be ready for things that can happen, right? So we all have to be realistic again. But if your mindset is one that says, I normally go and complain, or I normally find something wrong or approach things in a negative way, you have to pause, be real with yourself, and then start to say, how do I shift? Again, things may not be your fault, but it is always your responsibility how you react to it. And this is a message that I have for you today. I hope it helps. Please subscribe to the channel. I would love to hear your comments, your ideas, and also to make sure that you get the new videos that I post on a week-to-week basis. I appreciate your time. I know it's very valuable and I don't take that for granted. So thank you so much for that. And on to the next one.